All right, folks, you heard us just talking about Bishop T.D. Jakes making the announcement that he is stepping down as senior pastor of the Potter's House in Dallas. This is yesterday's announcement.
You all know for years I have been talking about it. It may not work out the way I plan it, but I get on my knees and pray, and I plan my life in decades. How many of you remember me saying that? Not days, but decades. Because major moves take time. It may look like it was suddenly, but you don't know what the background work was. About 6 years ago, I started talking to Pastor Toure and Pastor Sarah because I did not want all that I had spent my life and your life and our lives building to get old and go with us. This is a generational. And even though she was busy doing Woman Evolve and he was busy pastoring One LA, about 4 years ago, they moved out here just in time for COVID. God has a sense of humor. He throws you in the water and then says, swim. So for the last 4 years, they have been swimming. I talked to the board because I was concerned. I have seen too many men build something and stay so long that they kill what they build. What you gotta understand is it's not so important that you just know when to grab a hold. It's knowing when to let go. Now, there's some other things that I'm assigned to do, both here and outside. But I cannot afford, especially after November, to risk something happening to me and you be sheep without a shepherd. I cannot afford to let all the work of all the saints living and dead to hold this so tight, so long that I wither away. So I'm suggesting to you, I'm recommending to you that you receive Pastor Toure and Pastor Sarah Come on. Come on. This is legacy. Not because they're kin, but because they're the kind. They've immersed themselves into the DNA of this church for years. sat quiet, preached. What you didn't know, from November forward, they've been running the church anyway.
Folks, that was Bishop T.D. Jakes making the announcement yesterday that his son-in-law, Pastor Toure, and his daughter, Sarita, would be taking over as senior pastors. I'm going to go to, I'll start with you, Kelly. This is a significant announcement. We're talking about, this is a worldwide ministry. The Potter's House is not just a Dallas-based ministry. Bishop Jakes moving there more than 30 years ago, coming from West Virginia to setting up shop there in Dallas. National ministry, international ministry, traveling all across the world. Look, he's 67 years old. He has talked about that heart attack that he suffered from the pulpit in November. And that was a huge scare. He said later he didn't even realize that he was suffering a heart attack. And look, almost did not come back from that. And so this really is a significant. It really is important. And I do hope it is a lesson, not just for preachers, but also for business owners and others to understand that when you build something monumental, how does it keep going? That's one of the issues that we've seen in a lot of Black-owned businesses, where they built it up and very rarely sons and daughters take it over. And so all of that work, all of that time, all that energy just simply goes for naught. And that to me is quite unfortunate.
Yes, you are correct in that. But I want to note and really highlight the significance of this from a woman's perspective. In the church, it is rare, incredibly rare, for a woman to take over a church of this magnitude. Like you said, this has been in the Potter's House in general has been in the making for 30 years. And in those 30 years, and before those 30 years, during those 30 years, and certainly after these 30 years, there has been attacks on women leading congregants, not because they're not able, not because they haven't studied themselves approved, but because there is toxic patriarchy within the Christian community, within Christian leadership, and it runs rampant. Doesn't matter what your denomination is, doesn't matter what your race is, it doesn't matter. In the religion itself, there has been, certainly within Western Christianity, an undercurrent of toxic patriarchy, such that women have not been able to lead in the way that they could and should. So for Bishop T.D. Jakes to not only recognize that, but to flip it on its head and trust his daughter, who has more than studied herself approved, who has more than shown herself overqualified for this position, to bestow something so precious and so needed in the Black community, needed in Black church community, to a woman, that speaks volumes. And I don't know if enough people are going to talk about that point, but that is what I took away from this, that he trusted a woman, not just his daughter, not somebody who he has mentored, just somebody who he has mentored, but a woman to lead a church of this magnitude. Like you said, this is a global church, and a woman is going to be the head of it, and that's incredible to me.
I think back on the Congo to the point that Kelly makes there. Billy Graham, Reverend Billy Graham, it leaves the ministry to his son Franklin Graham. But the real preacher in the family is Ann Lutz, the person who really, and if Ann Lutz was a man, oh no doubt she blows Franklin out of the water. Franklin ain't even an actual preacher. Okay, so the real person who truly follows in the footsteps of Billy Graham is his daughter, Ann Lutz, but she's a woman. And that's how Franklin Graham was able to take the mantle of his father's ministry.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And when you look at something like that, like the Potter's House, I mean, you're talking about a church that started with a man who, would pick up people to drive them to church, preach to them, and then drive them home. I mean, you want to talk about starting from the bottom and building an international organization. And so, on two levels, I see something amazing. Number one, the fact that what you and Kelly are talking about as well, passing this over to a woman to lead this. And like you said, she and her husband have been running it ever since, the heart attack happened. That's powerful. And I think it's also powerful to show that, yes, this is a church that we're talking about. And you talked about businesses, but they're also, I'm thinking about the legacy civil rights organizations as well, and people not seeing the handoff take place. And unfortunately, sometimes things don't happen until somebody dies. There's documents, people are claiming this and that and this and that. He made it all official. He made it public for everybody to see. Doesn't matter what anybody says, this is what's going down. And that's really important. And so I think in addition to other churches and in addition to businesses, other leadership and legacy organizations also could learn from this example. So in this brief moment that he has put out to the world, it was actually something that was very monumental and could be actually consequential if more of us would follow that example who lead these other churches, organizations, and businesses as well.
Oh, absolutely. And Derek, it is, again, I hope other people learn from it. And you heard Jake say in terms of what's been built up. But he also, in the press release he announced, he talked about things that he wants to do. He really wants to now focus his energy on creating economic opportunities for African Americans and others. He has his organization in good soil. He really wants to be focused on the economic piece. With now that his time will be freed up, no longer being the senior pastor of the Potter's House.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Roland. And I want to just build upon what Dr. Omakamogo and Kelly. When you think about a mega church, it's a mega business. When you think about a congregation of 20,000 people or more, the responsibility goes well beyond just delivering powerful sermons, on a weekly basis. When you think about the role and responsibility that his daughter is about to step in, she's more than capable, not just in preaching and teaching, but talking about making sure that payroll is met. And the thing about this story, Roland, for me, it highlights the most important thing, and that's succession planning. We as Blacks do not do succession planning as much as we should. I can only think about, Toure Scott King. She was thrusted into, with her role after Dr. King was assassinated. And it demonstrates that, to Kelly's point, that a woman has the capability and the capacity to get things done. We have the Dr. King federal holiday because of Toure Scott King. And so when you think about T.D. Jakes passing over the reins over to his daughter and his son-in-law, it makes sense. We got to do more succession planning in all aspects of our lives, in the family, as well as politics and the likes. And so I agree that this 67-year-old icon, giant, felt the need to pass over what he has built over 3 decades to his daughter, and then ask the congregation, Roland, and say, I need you all to support this decision because it's the right decision to be had.
Yeah. And again, folks, so our lower third is wrong. Jakes is not resigning from the church. He is retiring as senior pastor. And so that language is actually, the distinction is really important.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long. With content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.